Welcome, everyone, to Board&Dice CON, and a special welcome to my wonderful and beautiful guests. How are you guys?
Excited.
Oh,
Yeah.
very
Very
good.
much.
Yeah.
Board games. Board games.
Board games. Yes, hello.
Board games, beards. Yeah. I mean, we're ready to go.
Ready to go.
There are a lot of
Let's
beards
go.
here.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm here for it, y'all.
Yeah. There's just one of us that doesn't have a beard going. But you can drape the hair around.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
It makes you extra
Do I fit
special.
in now? I have to sit this way the entire time.
Looks great.
Well, welcome everyone. Welcome also to everyone who is watching. We are streaming this simultaneously to both Facebook and Twitch, so you can watch it there. Thank you to everyone who is participating in the chat and for all the comments and so forth. Let's start by doing some introductions here. Let's start on the upper right corner, a beautiful couple.
No, that's us.
I guess that must be
That
us.
is
It's
you.
the only-
Yes.
Only person talking to people.
So
Yeah.
cute.
Hey, I'm Johannes.
I'm Sunniva. We're from Board Gaming Ramblings, and we do a lot of YouTube videos about, you guessed
Board
it, board games.
games.
Yeah. Right now we're doing this enormous task of playing through our whole collection, like 600 plus games, and deciding whether to keep or cull them. So that's our life right now, basically.
Board games.
That's a great life to live, I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
It
we're
is.
not complaining at all.
Yeah, no. I love the videos. The videos are great. The keep recall. It's great.
Yeah, I have to say,
Thank
too,
you.
if you haven't watched their videos, go. If you want to start your day off right, just watch at least the first 10 seconds of any one of their videos, because you'll just be bowled over by pure joy. It's a fantastic opening that they have on their videos.
And please watch the rest as well, because
that
if
too,
you only
that
watch
too.
10 seconds, I don't think we get the view. So, statistics.
Right. And can you at least stay for like 3 minutes? Come on.
Yeah. I also like during your keep or call the 3, 2, 1 boom.
Boom.
Yeah, and it's so exciting because we don't know each other's opinions on
Yeah.
beforehand. So usually we have a few surprises and we disagree a little as well. So
Yes.
that's really cool.
Yep. No, those are great. And I also like, I was watching some, or rewatching recently your overrated games. That was a lot of fun as well.
Yeah, that is those are weird videos to make. Like when people like different things, and I think it's just fun to talk about things that we might not like that people love sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's just what I love about board games. Like every time when we get a comment like, "Oh, but I love this game," and I'm always like, "That is awesome," because there's so many games. And there's games for everybody. So if I don't like a game, then you can have it and you can play it and you can have all the fun. And that is just what I love about games, because there's so many games releasing, and you're gonna find games that you love and that are right for you.
Yeah.
Love. Yeah, that's
I
great.
wish I could clone you for saying that. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And repopulate the world with you.
Right.
I don't think that would be a very good world, but thank you.
I don't know. You have a good look. I mean,
Right.
Yeah. Well, let's go clockwise. Theo.
Oh, me. Okay. Well, I'm Theo Stremple. I run the YouTube channel Geeky Gamer Guy. I also do social media. Y'all, I just am like everybody else here. I love board games. I talk about board games all the time. I run a preview channel, where I talk about new and upcoming games. But like y'all, you come to my social media, I do lots and lots of impressions. I want everybody to get the board game experience and see if they find something they like and just go out and play. That's like that's like my biggest thing that I want people to do is, if you like something, go play it and enjoy,
Absolutely. I like your positivity. You are
Nah.
you're
Thank
you're
you.
happy. You're positive. You are
Yeah.
a great presence in both the hobby, the industry,
Oh.
and your videos are awesome. So
Y'all, we're about to reveal. We're not gonna make Theo cry before we start, okay?
Now, Theo, you've said y'all 3 times now. I have to know, where are you from?
I'm originally from Texas.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, so the y'all is definitely ingrained in me. There's, that happens all the time. Also, I also love it because it is the most neutral pronoun to put out there, and I really, as much as obviously I say it a lot, but I also think that it's important to be as inclusive as possible. So it's just one of those ones where I love saying it. I love saying y'all, and like the more I'm into it. Yeah, it's like almost like a reflex at this point. It's like my
Yeah, I can't imagine a negative way of saying that word. It just has an innate positivity to it.
Right. Like if anything, you can just see that I like y'all said, I am genuinely excited about these things. So when I say y'all, it's like it's a big deal. And you can tell the level of excitement, like it's like y'all, that's y'all, that's a big deal.
I see.
Big deal.
There's different degrees of y'all.
Right, of course.
I see. Okay,
right.
I get it. Well, to follow along with our guests that already introduced themselves, I think positivity is probably a theme that we're all on board with in terms of board games in general. Like Johannes said, sometimes you're not going to like every game, as long as you can communicate that without necessarily, judging those who do. I think we're all good. And we do all sorts of stuff of content. I'm from Man vs. Meeple. My name is David Waybright. We do all sorts of content as well: reviews, previews, playthroughs, anything board game related. But again, like everyone here, I think first and foremost, what we wanted to do with our channel, and what I think everyone else here wants to do, is be advocates for the hobby. So the more we can get out and, like Theo said, play a game, check it out, get it to the table. And the more we can get people to the hobby, the better, obviously. I know that's something we're all interested in doing. On a personal level, you're always looking for more people to play with. But
always,
always.
On an industry level, it's great for the hobby as well. So do whatever you can. Welcome anyone and everyone to the table, and everyone just try to have fun.
Yeah. Oh, beautifully put.
Yes.
Well, how do I follow that? I mean, that sums up like everything.
I know,
there.
like we're done, y'all. Clip.
Yeah.
Scott, this is where you say, I don't like board games.
That's right. Yeah.
Let's hear my hot take.
I'm a little different. So my name is Scott Morris. Some of you may remember me as Tox. I have done a little bit of everything in this industry. I've run a retailer. I have run my own review site that is no longer functional right now, but it used to be a long time ago. I have managed publishers. I managed Arcane Wonders during the release of Sheriff Nottingham. And I also managed a company called Passport Game Studios, which brought Takedo over to America. And now today, I am actually a partner with Board&Dice. I work with GTS Distribution, which is one of the largest distributors of board games and entertainment products in the United States. And proudly, lovingly, Philip, Eirik, and Rainer are one of our biggest partners, and we love working with them. So I get to work with them, bringing all their games across the water on boats, which is super easy right now. It's like very, very simple to be able to ship logistically internationally. Yeah. I actually lived for 26 years in Austin, Texas, Theo. So y'all 100% accepted with me.
I'm in Austin, Texas. Georgetown really is where my house is.
That's where we lived, actually. We were right next to the university. So
do you know it's really crazy because I came from the Bay Area, and then I moved out here, and our next door neighbors are from the Bay Area, and I'm just like, I feel like I haven't left, so that's cool, I guess.
I grew up in New York, and I moved to Texas in '93, and I think I met more people from New York in Texas than actually in New York.
Like, seriously, that's the truth. It really is the truth. It's mind blowing. I'm like, they're from San Mateo, and I'm like, I went down. I would go to your IKEA that was right there.
Awesome.
This is so wild.
That's awesome. I would definitely like to echo David's comments, though. I think a lot of us are here, obviously, for announcements and some awesome things that Board&Dice is going to talk about. But overall, I like to live my life the same way. I always tell people when they ask me, what do you do for a living? I tell them I make memories, because that's what I want to do. I want to be able to bring things to people's tables that just make them smile and create these stand-up moments that they'll remember forever. In fact, we just had one last night at my house, but that's a longer story for a taller beer. So we'll let Rainer talk about it, but it's a lot of fun.
Well, again, welcome everyone. You guys are all awesome, and I agree with what you said. I mean, this hobby is about bringing positivity, especially I feel like whenever times are rough, and whether this be the political climate or social issues that are going on, one thing that we can unite around is board games. And in fact, whether we like the same types of games or not, at least we can be passionate about the hobby as a whole. So that's the important thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, well, I'm gonna share a little bit about in general what's going to happen, what you can expect from this B&D CON. We're going to talk about more games with Johannes doing his games, right? Yes. and he's not muted, he's just being kind and not shouting it every time. And we're also going to talk about some fun news and revealing some things. So let me share this right here. All right. So again, welcome everyone to the convention as a whole. Very excited for the things that we're going to be able to bring you, and so forth. Let's talk first a little bit about schedule that we have planned. So as you probably know, it goes for 2 days, April 10th and 11th, which happens to be today and tomorrow. We have a lot of live events. We have about roughly about 12 hours of streaming content, continuous streaming both days. Today, this is the opening show, the big reveal, which you will see in a moment what that entails. After we are done here, there will be a quiz show by the Brothers Murph, a board game themed quiz show. So I highly encourage you to join that one, and it's one that everyone can participate in. There will be a code that you can use to join the quiz, and it will be all sorts of questions and stuff. So that's very exciting. After that, we're going to have a presentation by our in-house graphic designer and illustrator. Zbyszek Umdelter is going to talk about specifically when it comes to cultural themes and such, and why it's important to approach those carefully when it comes to the artwork. We're later going to have a Geeky panel, and the Geeky panel is going to be a group of illustrious people that talk about their top 5 iconic characters. That could be recent discoveries, it could be characters from their childhood, it can be books, movies, any of those things. So looking forward to that. After that, there's going to be one of 3 designer dialogues, which is basically an interview with a designer, and this one is going to be with Andreas Odendahl, or Ode. After that, we are going to hear from Steph Hodge. She's going to talk about what she does, particularly when it comes to board game photography and so forth. Later, we will hear from our head of development, who will talk about how to pitch a game design to a publisher. Some of the do's and don'ts, and some of the things to think about and prepare for, and some of the things not to worry about when you're pitching a design. And later this evening, there will be a live play of Origins First Builders, which is one of our releases this year. You can also see on the right side of the screen that there will be demo tables. We have on our Discord channel, and there's a link if you're on Twitch. There's a link below the video where you can follow that. I will put a link here shortly as well in the chat, or maybe Philip can do that. You can join our Discord channel. We will be using that for audio, and then Tabletopia for the actual gameplay. And we will be playing all 3 of the releases. So Mandala Stones, Origins, and Zapotec. There will be demo tables for that. Then, if we look at tomorrow's schedule, we will be starting a little bit earlier tomorrow, so an hour earlier than this stream. And the first thing that is going to be then is a chance for you to meet everyone from Board&Dice. Basically, you'll have a chance to see everyone talk about what they do and who they are, maybe sharing some fun personal things about how they got into the hobby and so forth. Typically, there's only a limited number of us that are perhaps visible if you see us at conventions or you've been watching the streaming that I've been doing. But we have a wonderful team of skilled people that can't wait to let you meet some of those as well. After that, there will be a live play of Mandala Stones. We will also have another designer dialogue, this time with Adam Kopinski, who's the designer of Origins. After that, you'll have a chance to join another Creative Minds, this time talking to some of the illustrators for our games. And we'll have a whole group of illustrators that will be talking about some of the work that they do when it comes to illustrations for board games. That will be followed by a live play of Zapotec. And after that, there will be an interview with Fabio, who is the designer of Zapotec. Then there will be the second Geeky panel, this time just a fun casual chat about component monikers, which is basically some of the many nicknames or names that we might be familiar with. Some of them might be ones that you like. Maybe you have a favorite word for meeples, whether this be keeples or animeeples or whatever it might be, or there might be some other things, or maybe some of these monikers that you don't like so much. We'll have a fun conversation about that. And the final guest will be in the final Creative Minds, talking about content creation with Stella from Meeple University. And then after that, we will have an after party where we just close out the show. We talk about the things, talk about all the wonderful guests that we had, and so forth. So those are the things that are coming these 2 days. And again, tomorrow there will be more demos. You can also find a schedule of both all the live events as well as the demos, both on our website. So if you go to boardanddice.com, there is a link on the front page that will take you to the schedule for B&D CON, and also on our Discord channel under the B&D CON category. There is a channel in there that is called Daily Schedule, and you'll be able to find all the schedules there, as well as information about how to join the different demos. We have volunteers and staff on hand to help you find your way there. So we're looking forward to seeing you at those tables. Next, let's talk about some of the releases. So these 3 games are ones that we will be focusing on, both as far as the live plays. There will be a live play of each of these games, as well as these are the ones that you can demo. Just real quick, Mandala Stones is the one that is basically an imminent release. That's one of those any day now. And then after that, we will have Origins in August, and Zapotec, which will be initially available in November through Board Game Geek in North America, and widely available in retail in March of 2022. Yeah, what do you guys think about these games? I am super excited, actually.
I'm so excited. Sorry.
I would have been happy to have any one of these coming out in the year, but having all 3 of these, I am super excited about it.
I love the if we're going to talk about just like the imminent, like Mandala Stones, I like that. I love just the overall look of it. It's just it's so gorgeous, and it's you know how they like Azul, where it's like it looks like it's candy, like it just looks like candy, like it just is beautiful on the table, and I just can't wait to like play it and look at it while I'm playing, you know,
And eat it.
and resist. I'm going to resist eating it, but I will resist.
So I've played Mandala Stones. I haven't won Mandala Stones, but I've played Mandala Stones.
That sounds like me.
It is gorgeous. I am great. My superpower is coming in second place. Like, I am phenomenal.
I am the usherer of games. I don't win. I'm like the one that shows you which one you're gonna win.
Yeah, let me show you how much fun you can have while I watch you win. Right?
Right.
I've played Origins, and that's actually me personally, in terms of like my personal play style. That's the one that I'm most excited for. I think Origins is gonna really surprise a lot of people and be more than what you may even expect. And I absolutely love it. I just can't say enough good things about it. So I'm really stoked about this year.
Yeah, Origins.
I'm so bad at Origins.
Yes.
You're so bad at Origins.
Oh, Rainer, that's not even true compared to me. Rainer taught me Origins, and we played it. Like some of you have said, I'm the guy who doesn't win any games. I'm that usher as well. Although I enjoy them, and what I'll say about Origins is I love so many things about it. I'm awful at it. When I play a game like that, I like to try to do. I've got the attention span of a gnat, so like I'll be doing one engine here, and then I'm like, what's that over there? And I'll go do that, and I end up ultimately not doing any of them very well. But there's a lot of fun, different things you can do in Origins. And the other amazing thing is, coming from Adam as a designer, when you think about the fact that he's gone from something like Nemesis and then something like this, which is a pretty meaty Euro, is an amazing accomplishment for a designer.
So much range. Like it's a feat.
Yeah, for sure.
You're making me super excited for Origins.
I know. I need it now. Like I need it right now.
Good.
It is. It's got a lot of cool things going on.
It's beautiful.
I have high hopes for Sabatech though, because I really like Fabio's last game, Merv. We really enjoyed. So I hope that is stellar.
Oh, I have no doubt. Yeah, I think that it's after you saw the caliber of Merv, you just see that this one's going to be up to that. Like I'm just ready for it. I'm ready.
So we haven't fully.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, we haven't played any of them because we are boring old school people who like to play board games physical. So we really haven't played any like demos or anything of new games digital, because I'm just getting frustrated by moving things around and I cannot do it and I want it on my table. So I just have to sit and wait, look at all the old people playing the game, but I know I choose it myself. But I'm just excited to get these physical things and move them around and do things and make Sunniva win, because that's my life.
I'm the only winning person in this group, apparently.
Someone's got to do it.
Someone's got to do it. Yeah, the tabletop, like all the Tabletopia and all that. I always call it grabby hands, because it's like, like if you have like a grabby hand, like that's what it feels like when you're moving components, especially when you first start out. Obviously, once you do it, you get used to it. But it's like one of those ones where it's like, when I remember the first one, I'm like, nope, I didn't get it. Hold on.
And you'll also find people on Tabletopia doing things that you would not do at a normal table, like using those grabby hands to go over and mess with your components.
Oh yeah,
just to be silly. And it's funny at first,
but by the 50th time, you're like, well, maybe not.
I am really thankful though that, especially like this year, the fact that we've had things like Tabletopia and Tabletop Simulator and Board Game Arena, even though I do feel, even after being used to the interface, I still feel like I'm playing it with like tweezers or something.
No,
like
absolutely.
That's the feeling.
Absolutely.
Like tweezers or chopsticks or something. That's how I feel when I'm playing, because it takes so much mental effort to I need to go grab that and moving my scoring marker or whatever it might be. It's which is why I don't win. So no point in scoring. I don't want to move that scoring marker.
Yeah, what I'm hearing is we need to make a game about playing a game on Tabletopia. That's what we need to do.
I'm here for this meta. I'm here
double
for
meta.
Yeah.
Johannes, you
thing
should
is-
just practice. You should just practice by using tweezers on the games that you play at your table, and
That's
then
the
maybe
thing,
you can get
yeah.
used to the idea.
I
I
would
do
do
find it
that.
fascinating that you're probably among the younger people on this panel, and you're the one that's not using Tabletopia and TTS.
Yeah, it's just not a thing. I don't know. Like Board Game Arena is usually. I like something that's like logged in. Like I wanted to say, no, you can't do that. Like I would
That's
like
true.
that as
That is
opposed
fair.
to it being like, I could cheat. I don't know. Nobody knows. So yeah, I don't know. It's just like a personal preference, I guess.
Yeah.
The good thing is it doesn't sound like anyone's really excited for these games, so we can probably move on to the big announcement.
Right. I think we need a big announcement, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I was gonna say though is that one thing that,
He's like,
that is
nope,
good
no
about
announcement.
Yep, that was a hard no,
no,
Scott.
but
I'm
let's-
sorry.
Kiboshed.
But we were talking earlier about how people have different likes and dislikes, right? And these three games, they are very different. I mean, you have Mandala Stones, which is an abstract strategy game. And speaking of, by the way, components and stuff. Yes.
Oh,
these
listen to those.
nice
I like
little-
that ASMR right
Yep.
there.
Those are
Yes.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me hear them click,
Oh, they-
please. Let me hear them click.
And then we have Origins, which is the theme behind it is something that you would expect from Adam Kwapinski, right? It's the theme is, we've all heard the alternate history theories, right? Where there's no way that some of these marvelous wonders can have been erected by ancient civilizations, or you have the Nazca lines or whatever. Obviously, aliens were involved.
Right.
And here we have it. Aliens were involved. Yes.
There we go.
Aliens have visited Earth, and you go to the different encounter sites. But then beyond that, this is a really solid Euro.
Yes.
And it has all the things that you, if you like some of the recent games that we have, you have a bit of, it's not dice drafting directly, right? But you have multicolored dice where both the value and the color matters. But then you have worker placement, where your dice are the workers that you place, and depending on the color, you get different effects from them. And then they age as well, so that they get better and improve. They eventually retire. You're building a city with tiles. Oh, there are so many good things in this game.
Sounds so
And
good.
I did a solo of this like 2 weeks ago, I think. Did a solo play, and I am so bad. Like I knew beforehand. I knew I was gonna lose to the AI, and I did. And afterwards, I was talking about, like, I know why I lost. I know what I should have done differently. I just can't seem to pull it off. And yet, I love this game. This is a fantastic game.
That's I think
it's
honestly the experience, as long as you had fun, it shouldn't be about the score. Like, that's another thing that I like to say, because, like, you know, people get very competitive. As long as you're enjoying it, really it really doesn't matter. I want you to, and that's like that. Like, I want a game that's like that, and that's what y'all make. Y'all make games that are like that. So it's like, I'm so bad, but I'm having a great time. You know, like, that's
at least
fine.
no one else beat me, though. There was
Hey.
no other player. That would
That's
beat me,
right.
so-
That's true. As long as you play solo, there's only one other person's gonna beat you.
I'm
Actually, not even a
always-
person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
And
I'm
then-
the one person in the room that didn't lose, like the one person, you know. But then
right.
of course,
Well, I
the
did
bot.
lose,
right.
but yeah. No, and then Zapotec. One thing that I like in games is when you have multi-use cards, right? And I also like
love
games that have simple and straightforward rules and so forth. And here you have. It's funny because you take 5 turns in this game, 5 turns,
What?
and you do so much on those 5 turns. You play a card, you play a single card, and that card tells you which resources you produce. And then there are basically 3 regions, because this is the Valley of Oaxaca in modern day Mexico. So you play a card that can either well, actually, so there are 3 regions, those 3 regions from the valley. And within each region, there are 3 types of terrain. And within each type of terrain, there are 3 types of buildings. And when you play a card, that will limit one of those things. So the card might limit that you are only allowed to build in one of the regions, but you can build in any type of terrain and any type of building. Or it might say that, well, you can only build a farm this turn. Okay, but you can do that in any region and any type of terrain. So it only limits the type of building. So it limits one of those 9 aspects. And there's so much that happens because you play a card that determines the resources that you can get. And then you can build any number of buildings as long as that fits the constraints of the card. And at the end of your turn, you will be drafting a new card. So there's a tableau or an offer of, if we're doing a 4-player game, there will be 5 cards throughout. And you take one of those, and that goes into your hand, and you can or cannot play it on a future turn, right? Now, because there's one more card than the number of players, that means that the last card, the card that no one drafts, that will become the scoring card for the following round. So not only do you have to think about which card you want to take for the resources that it produces, how it limits where you can build and what you can build, but you also don't want to leave a card where you're like, well, I don't care about that one because I don't want to build there. But that might be one that you don't want to leave because you haven't built there before, and you don't want that to be the scoring, right? It is so wonderful that the game has a really nice escalation where you feel like, am I really going to be able to fill this up and fill my personal player board with tiles and so forth? But you will, even though you only have 5 actions or 5 turns, I should say, during the game. Every turn that improves your player board, and you get bigger and bigger actions as the game goes on.
Rainer,
so super excited about this one.
Everything you just said sounds amazing. It also sounds like I'm going to be sitting there looking at my cards while everyone else at the table is waiting for me to take my turn.
I'm here for it. I would like, I love my favorite games. Like, I remember, like, the longer I've been playing games, the more I'm like, if everybody's staring at something and it's like super quiet, I'm like, this is what I want. This is like, I love this. Like, I remember one time I had somebody, I was like, I'm having such a great time, like, because you're usually staring at your cards, and it's like, that game sounds exactly up my alley. So yes.
Yeah. So those are the games that you can demo during B&D CON. Now we're gonna go over to this next one. So now we're going to talk about the Deluxe Master Set. Before I actually tell you what's hidden on this slide here. So if you're not familiar with it, we've done 2 Deluxe Master Sets in the past. So the first one that we did was Snowdonia, which was an excellent game. And it had received a lot of expansion scenarios. There were also tons of promo cards for that game. When we did the Deluxe Master Set for Snowdonia, that means that not only were all of the previous scenarios included, there were also a whole bunch of new scenarios, and every single promo card, including ones that Tony Boydell would have scribbled on a napkin at a convention and given out to fans. Every single promo card was included in that one. And of course, upgraded components, screen printed wooden pieces, and so forth. Then after that, we had the Yedo Deluxe Master Set, which if you haven't played it, it's a very nice worker placement game where you have these missions that you're trying to complete, and you have to time your actions. You have multiple disciples, and you can increase how many disciples you have. And you want to try to time where you're placing them so that you can both fulfill your missions and get other things that you need for your missions and so forth. When that one became a Deluxe Master Set, not only was that then a reprint of the original game, but now it was expanded with modular content that allowed you to customize the gameplay experience, make the game shorter or longer, make it more interactive, and just have more variety and variability to that. So that's what you can expect from the Deluxe Master Sets. Now, when we did a teaser a while back, we basically told people, okay, this was going to be, it's a game that is in the top 200 on Board Game Geek. and we didn't say much else. And there were lots of guesses, lots of speculation of what this might be. And now we are going to tell you that the Deluxe Master Set is going to be La Granja. And this will be crowdfunded in 22. Yeah. What do you guys think?
That's awesome.
Super excited. Super excited.
Yeah, La Granja is, dare I say, I think potentially a somewhat underrated game. This is a great Euro game that came out, I think, 2015 or something back in the day. And it does so many really cool things. And it, to me anyway, and I could be speaking out of turn here, but it did so many things that I had not personally seen before, and it combined all of those things. So many of my favorite mechanisms are in this game. We just mentioned multi-use cards with Zabotec. This game, to me, is the epitome of multi-use cards, and I just love the tactile aspect of tucking them in under your board on all sides.
Yeah. I really enjoy the moving around things. I love fiddling with things, and this is the game where you fiddle with things, and it's just I love that part. So yeah, I'm really excited for it. It's gonna be and like you said, the master sets have been gorgeous. I mean, we have not talked about Yeto. The Meeples were amazing in that. So it's just think about the caliber that we're gonna have in this game. I can't wait.
I think you're gonna have like real fruits and real
here for
real
it.
things in the game. That's gonna be amazing, so you can actually eat it.
The olives might not hold up very well. I'm just
Yeah.
I don't know. But you know
It's
what?
gonna
That
be
one
good,
play,
like, for one time. Yeah.
that one play, it'll be great.
It's like one box, which is the legacy version. It's gonna be really good.
Right.
My favorite part about that discussion was David saying, you know, it came out in 2015 back in the day, because that was like so long ago.
I know.
Ancient times.
No, that's phenomenal. That is a great game to put a deluxe set to. I mean, there's a lot of, like David said, there's a lot of moving parts in that, and there's a lot of things that you could make that would just, it's already a beautiful game, and it's already a super fun game.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that's a game that if it was given the, you know, kind of, deluxeified feel
that
to
glitz,
it,
that glitz and glamour.
Yeah, yes. You know, you know, what's the old thing? The sparkle set, bedazzle it.
Bedazzled,
beautiful.
bedazzling it. Yes, I'm here for it.
That's great. Congratulations, guys. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's
thank you.
fantastic.
So Rainer, is there anything you can tell us about it?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
So first, let's talk about so and one of the reasons why a lot of people had obviously people saw that on the schedule we have Oda as one of the guests. So that was one of the reasons why people were guessing La Granja, even though there were also lots of guesses that were for other games, also great games, but that were not the ones that are that this one is going to be right. But so La Granja was it was designed by Andreas Odendahl or Oda and Michael Keller, and what it's going to bring will be, first of all, of course, it will be deluxe upgraded components. We are looking into things like screen printed wood and metal coins and shaped wood pieces, all of these things that you would expect from a deluxe game, right? Larger multi-layer player boards, so that you have a nice way to slide in the cards and so forth, and just a little bit larger as well, so that you don't have the cards that are on opposite sides, that they don't compete with each other when they're slid under the player board. And there have not been any expansions for it, but now there will be both new expansions. There will be modular content, including by Oda himself, but also by different guest designers like Adam Kopinski and Stefan Feld, David Turczi.
Yeah, I saw Stefan Feld, and I'm like, what?
And then it will also contain the No Siesta roll and write game, which is one of I'm not usually a big fan of roll and write games, but this is one that I really, really like. This is one that it's such a nice and pleasant version of the game, right?
Yeah.
I really like it. So that one is also going to be included, although instead of having stickers on the dice, there will be upgraded dice for that.
Oh,
wow.
so nice. What a reveal.
I had decided that we didn't need this because we only have La Granja.
But La Granja we can just give to somebody and we can get this because,
we need this now.
we're gonna play it for people.
Need
So,
it. It's like a need.
Yeah.
And it's really cool.
I'm
It's really
game
cool.
rambling soon.
It's really cool that Sevenfold is making an expansion for this. Like we just did a playthrough for Luna, which has that same the same in the middle where you place your people, which Odie, I'm pretty sure, said that his inspiration for La Granja was coming from that, and that's pretty cool to see Stefan Feld doing an expansion for that game again. So it's kind of like coming full circle, and that's going to be really interesting to see Stefan Feld, like especially because I've never seen him do something like this and see him make something for another game, and also because he's one of my favorite designers, and we're playing all these games right now. So that's pretty awesome. I'm excited, super excited for board games.
Board games.
Yeah. The component upgrades too will be amazing. Particularly the player boards. I'm very excited to see what you guys do with those, because who else here actually modified their player boards on their original La Granja? I actually put little felt pads, strategically placed, and you had to be very strategic about where you place these felt pads on the bottom of the board so the cards slide in nice and easy.
That's a smart idea.
That's really smart. I didn't even think about that.
It's not mine. I got it off. I got the idea off of BGG, so I can't claim that. But I did do the arts and craft project myself.
We play games from Splotter, so we don't upgrade anything. We're
I love the excuse of that. It's like we play Splotter games, so yeah, everything stays the same.
That's funny.
And then also the fact that no Siesta is going to be in the game as well. Like, so it's like that's really cool. You're getting like a 2-for-1 in that situation when it comes to games, and there's already y'all see how many expansions there's going to be. So this is going to be a nice chunk of game time that I'm going to be very excited to play every time, you know?
Yeah, and the fact that we're getting a new expansion and more modular content. I mean, that's like it's one thing to take a game and just make it more beautiful and deluxify it. It's a whole nother thing to bring in both the original designer, who is one of the best from a Euro perspective, and bring in other people that have, that good experience to add to it. It just that makes it a much more valuable thing to own. Like you were saying, before, Johannes, if you own it already, now you're going to want this, right? So it's got more for you, which is great. So
is there any way of accelerating it for this year instead of next year, Rainer? I think
tomorrow.
I would all prefer that.
Tomorrow would be great. It's Sunday.
Right?
Boom.
Yeah, there's a lot more that we could share about this as well. I gave so David is doing the interview with Oda later today, so I gave David a heads up on all the things that are planned for it, whether they will be available immediately, whether they will be stretch goals, things that are kind of just not for sure if they're going to be in, but things that are just planned. Obviously, the level of upgrades and how fancy the player boards will be, a lot of that will obviously be dependent on the funding levels and so forth. Absolutely. But I am super excited about what this is going to contain. And if you're one of the concerns that people will have sometimes, which is a legitimate concern, is the fact that, okay, well, now you have a game that is really good as is. And now we're talking not just one expansion, but multiple expansions and modular content. How is this going to affect the game? How is this going to impact? Is this going to be something that ruins the original game experience? Is this going to be something that completely changes it? Tune into the interview later. I know that David will talk about particularly the design principles that for this. This is not something where we have just said, well, let's just throw everything in there. But this is a matter of staying true to the design principles of the designers and making sure that this is not that just adds more, but just rather enriches and enhances the experience, other than just it's the goal is not to give you more stuff, but to make it more difficult for you to decide what to do on your turn. So
So it's
Great.
what I'm hearing is David knows stuff. So we need to
I-
we need to
Right.
corner David.
Probing David.
I
Like,
don't know what
hello.
Rainer told me that was real or not. I mean, the scratch and sniff grapes and olives, I'm not 100% sure on. But yeah, we will be talking. This is such a joy too to get the pleasure of interviewing any designer, let alone Oda, who designed this game, which is one of my favorites. So I am going to pick his brain about all that. I'm also going to be picking his brain about some things I want to know about in general about La Granja, because this was his first design, if I'm correct, right? Back in 2015,
I think so.
which is amazing.
Oh, wow.
And I remember when I first heard about it, listening to another content creator back in the day. Again, back in the day.
Back in the day.
And it sounded like something I had to have because it talked about what was likely some of the inspirations behind the game. So I'm interested to hear his own take on how much and what he drew inspiration from. And then also I might put him to the test and ask him some tough questions, maybe even holding one card up and another card up and making him choose between which helper he would want on his player board.
Nice.
That sounds like some great stuff right there. Yeah. Like, tell me your tips so that I can choose that one.
Well, my second hand sort of strategy there is to figure out, like, I need to be better at this game. That's one of the things. This is one of the, like I mentioned earlier, I kind of like will chase every squirrel I see. So when I look at multi-use cards, I'm like, oh man, I want to do this one too. Like, I want all these helpers. I want a board that gives me 8 helpers that I can have, not just 3. But I love that decision, even though it's sort of the torment that you're going through of like, oh man, I really need to add this olive farm, but I was holding out to get this helper played. Those are such tough decisions. And I toil over them forever, but it's really fun. You know, I really want to understand how he came about getting to that sort of design philosophy, let alone the dice drafting too, which was one of the first times I ever saw that in terms of the actions during the revenue phase. But then also with this new edition, I want to find out what these, I don't know, how far along are you, Rainer, with sort of those modules? I assume it's still, you know, early days in that process.
Well, some of them are basically final already, right? But then there are other ones that are already in the works and stuff. So it's in various stages.
I see.
As time goes by, we will share more of this. Obviously, there's a lot that is done already for it that we are playtesting and so forth. Things that have already been playtested past by Oda himself. He has not been idle. So this is definitely things that he's been working on and stuff. So there will be some fun things that we'll be sharing over the coming, unfortunately, months, but it will be over the coming months that we will be sharing more things about this. And
I will say this as someone who backs way too many things on Kickstarter. I am an addict, and it's okay. But I am kind of in that mode of, while I want it right now, I want anyone that does this kind of project to spend as much time and as much effort as possible making it the best experience, because like Yido was like an experience. Like when you open that box and you see everything that was in there from a deluxe perspective, it was just like, oh, it's like a kid at Christmas. There's this, there's this, there's this. It's like, it was so amazing. So that's something I'm looking forward to. So 2022 is acceptable. Just don't let it go to 2023. So
there's a point of, you can't go. Yeah, but 2022 is great. Yeah.
No, that's great. Congratulations. This is good stuff.
Thank you.
My guess too is that no matter how beautiful the components are, Johannes, you're probably going to go straight to the rule book where the Stefan Feld module is, right? Just to read up on that to see what it's all about.
That's true. Not gonna lie, I'm right there with y'all. I'm not gonna lie.
Since we were talking about 2022, let me also tell you a little bit more about something that we briefly teased just recently, and I briefly teased it a little bit more on a recent live stream, and that is Founders of Teotihuacan. Now, this is not an expansion for Teotihuacan. In fact, as of the expansion that is just about to be released, expansion period, which in itself, the name of it also indicates that this is the final expansion, right? So there will be no more content to expand Teotihuacan. That this was always the extent of what was planned for it. The game is done. We don't want to keep adding things to it that would dilute the experience. But that does not mean that we will abandon that setting. So Founders of Teotihuacan is a standalone tile laying game that basically takes place prior to Teotihuacan City of Gods. So before the city really became a city, but as the foundations were laid, this is what this one will cover. Now, obviously, this one is still, so this is scheduled to be released in the second quarter of 2022, so basically a year from now. And we're still working on art and so forth, but I have a few sneak peeks to show you.
Ooh.
So
Cool.
this is an idea of what the tiles are going to look like, right? And you see there on the right side, that's your player board. Now, one thing that is really nice about this game is that with it being a tile laying game, you can say, okay, well, obviously you want to add tiles to your board, you want to fill it up. You can see there are spaces that have the various temple symbols on them. You want to cover those spaces and all that. However, you want to mix the types of buildings. So let me go to the next one, which shows some of the prototype components for this.
Oh,
So you have
nice.
multiple
Cute.
types of buildings. So you have the regular buildings, and you can see those come in 3 different colors and in various shapes. Each color represents a type of resource. So basically, if I put down a yellow building, it will give me the yellow resource, or gold in this case. If I put down the gray building, that will provide stone for me. If I put down the red building, that will give me wood and so forth. And whenever you're placing a building on your board, all of the tiles that surround it. So if I go back to this one, you can see here how the spaces that surround the tile that you placed, that's where the resources go. That building never produces again. So you put down the building, it immediately produces, and never again. So that means that you want to place the buildings in open areas because that gives you the most resources. However, that also makes it difficult for you to fit the other buildings that will actually score you points.
That's cool.
So there's a
That's
bit of
tricky. I like that.
Mhm.
Sorry.
So then here you can see the temples, which are in the middle here. Those are the resources, or those are the types of buildings that actually cost resources. They will cost stone and wood, or stone and gold, and so forth. And those are the ones that you want to place around your player board in order to score victory points. Then you see how in the middle here of the player board you have 9 spaces. The game board is divided into 4 different quadrants, and on your turn you will perform an action within one of those quadrants. So that means that you have to kind of plan so that which building you want to place this turn, for example, so that there's room for it. And then you also want to plan for the pyramid tiles that can be placed there. So you see here on the right side of this screen, there are different pyramid tiles that you can add to the middle of the player board, which will look something like this. So when you activate one of the quadrants, then depending on which tiles you have placed previously, that will give you certain benefits. It will affect your scoring and so forth. So lots of really neat things that thematically, obviously, this is related to and for sure inspired by Teotihuacan City of Gods, but otherwise it's its own standalone game. And this one will be coming out in the second quarter of next year.
That looks really cool.
Exciting.
Puzzly and resourcey and like everything I like.
My
That's all.
jam. That's my jam right there. Yeah.
And it's designed by the world famous designer of mandala stones.
Whoa, and somebody could get that like really soon.
Yes.
I
That's
can't
cool.
wait. Yeah.
And those are the things that we have, that we had to talk about today.
That's exciting. That's an exciting roadmap there, y'all. Like, I can't wait for that. Yeah. It's gonna be.
You guys have been killing it the last few years. I mean, honestly,
sure.
especially in terms of Euros, you really can be trusted to come out with, anywhere from 1 to 3. Like you said, this year, you'd be happy to have any one of these games coming out. And now you're adding things like Mandala Stones and Founders, which are not exactly the same sort of Euro experience, but something still what I think to be on the thinkier side of those types of games. Like, I think Mandala Stones, from when I've played it maybe 3 times now, it is definitely, it doesn't play anything like Azul, everybody, but if you like Azul or something like that, I can't imagine you not liking Mandala Stones. And it's a thinkier game. For sure. And then this one, Founders, looks insanely thinky. Like,
my brain's already melting just thinking about it. Yeah.
Yeah, that looks cool.
One of my favorite things, and I don't want to bore anybody with this type of discussion, but it's the truth, is that, in my chair with what I do with distribution, my job is like the best game in the market. But when I meet people, and you can imagine this, and David and everybody here knows this in terms of people reaching out to you to review your games and how many people are actually reaching out on a daily basis. Yeah. There's literally tenfold that how many people reach out to us on the distribution side of, hey, get my game into distribution. I need it in distribution. And one of the things that I always look for from a partnership perspective, I tell people, I'm not really worried about your game. I don't care who the designer is. I don't care who the artist is. I don't care what the mechanics or the theme are. I care about you. I want to know who you are. I want to know what you want to do from a business perspective. I want to know what you think is going to happen with your company for the next 2 years, 3 years, or 4 years. And there's so many people who look at me like, what? I haven't thought about that. I'm trying to get this one game out, right? Like, that's all I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
And when we first met Board&Dice, we were blown away. And it was at a totally different level of everything, from planning, of how they look at games, how they treat the market. Just everything was perfectly wrapped up in this little bow. And that was the reason that I really was super excited to begin working with them, because like you were saying, in terms of Euros, yes, but there is so much more that Board&Dice has, right? My boys, I have 2 younger boys who are 16 and 13. They love playing Traintopia, which is a great family game.
So good.
If you like tile laying games, like I tell people, it's like Carcassonne with trains. Like, it's so much fun, right? And there's just such a wide array between things like Traintopia, between things like Teotihuacan and Mandala Stones. It's like, that doesn't matter what level of gamer you are or what type of games you like. There's like something for everyone, literally. So seeing all of these things coming out, which are honestly hitting on all of my jams personally, like everything I love, I'm super excited about that stuff. That's great.
Yeah, the catalog is a nice array of just games that suit everybody, but you're gonna find something that you're gonna like. And like, I obviously, we're all Euro gamers here. We all like Euro games. I'm wearing a Euro gamer shirt, but Board&Dice does such a good job of picking these beautiful mechanics that, like, once you play this game, then you're going to stem into their other game, and it'll be another experience, but just as satisfying. And it's really good to see a company be so thoughtful with their selections, stuff like that.
Yeah, and just looking at the Board&Dice program for this con as well, lots of exciting stuff going on. And I'm just like, whoa, this is what a board game con can be and should be. And this, like, the plans that we have got, I'm just like, oh, I want to watch all of them.
Exciting stuff, yeah.
This is really, really cool that you're doing this. So, yeah, great.
I just want to point out, too, Rainer didn't pay us anything to say all these glowing
No.
remarks at all.
Not at all. Not at all.
We're all here.
We're all very
excited. Honest, I didn't know that. Okay, maybe I need to talk to Rainer offline. No.
Okay, Johannes to scream board games.
Does he get paid every time?
Every time.
Ticker.
No, to be completely serious, I think all of us are here because there's a wide array of publishers out there, some of which we just gravitate towards more than others. And Board&Dice is definitely one that's come on the scene that we've all really enjoyed. And like many of you watching, they can just be counted on, to their reputation is such that the next game that they come up with, you're going to want to take note and at least check it out. And like we said earlier, maybe it won't end up being for you. The jury's still out on me. I love Origins so much, but I'm so bad at it. I'm not sure how much I'll play it long term, but that's just me. And whether you like it or not, they're always going to have something. If they don't hit once, they're going to hit big the next time for you or someone else.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely.
I haven't seen yet where our games have fallen on Johannes and Sunniva's keep or call, so we'll see what happens there.
Let's see how much you'll pay us then. No.
That's right, yeah, right, exactly. How much money will it be? That's great.
But, yeah, thank you, by the way, for all your awesome and nice comments. It really means a lot, and that's why we. Well, I was gonna say that's why we do this. We don't do it for the comments. We do it for we're trying to make good games, trying to find games that people will like and love. And sometimes there will be games that people don't like, and other times there will be games that people love. And those are the moments whenever there's someone that says, you know what, this is my favorite game, or this one I just love that one. Those are wonderful times. And when really it's about having experiences, right? Even if someone ends up not liking a game, at least they had an experience. And at least maybe they can say, okay, well, I don't care for this mechanism. And that is also good, because that means that at least people are finding out what they like and don't like. There are so many games on the market, and it's important to, which is why, like the keep or call that you guys do, even if there are games out there that are really good, you don't have to have all of them. Keep the ones that you play, have fun and enjoy the hobby and love gaming and all that. That's why we do this, because we love the hobby and we love gaming.
Amen.
Right, exactly.
On one more last personal note, if you haven't ever had a chance to have Rainer himself teach you a game, try to get that happening for you, because the Board&Dice aside, Rainer's such a great guy. I just want to give you a shout out, Rainer, because it's been a pleasure working with you. And also, seriously, teaching a game takes a lot of skill and patience, particularly when you're teaching so many different people. And Rainer has both in spades for sure.
No. Well, thank you. And it's one of those things that I enjoy. I enjoy teaching games. I don't always enjoy teaching games using the Tabletopia platform, because there are a few things that just become much harder, and especially if you're doing it on stream at the same time. But I do enjoy teaching games, and I used to keep track of. Teotihuacan was such a big success for us, and I used to keep track of how many times I had taught that game. I remember the Dice Tower Con before its release, so the summer of 2018. Just during those few days of the convention, I taught the game 49 times.
Wow!
And I stopped counting at 350.
Oh,
that's amazing!
That's awesome! Oh my god! Just doing my one video of it, I was like, wow, that was a beast. And now it's like you did it over like that so many times. I'm just like, whoa.
That might be a record. I mean, you should check around with other people. That's a lot of teaching of one game.
For sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
But it's fun. And again, it's because people get to have experiences. Even if that was basically repeating the same portion of the game for me a lot. I got to be there in all those plays, and I got to be there when thousands of people had the ability to learn the game for the first time, play it, and have that first experience, and that was super rewarding.
That's great.
And that's one of the things that motivates me, right? Is to play it. I know what's about to happen, and most of the time, particularly like if it's people that I know or so, I know what you will like in the game, and being able to just sit back and wait for that to happen, right? That's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I have to say that's one of the things I like the most is that when Rainer's teaching us a game and he's not playing, all it takes me is looking at the camera like a helpless little puppy for Rainer to go, well, David, you might want to do this or this. And, and then those are like the few times I ever win at games, but it's really by proxy, and Rainer is the one winning the game.
Oh, that's great.
As long as it's a good experience, right?
Yeah,
That's
right. Exactly. That's really what matters. Is just that as long as you're having fun, like that's the big thing is that board games are fun, and y'all, we need to have fun. And yeah.
Now I have a new challenge. Now I want to play a game with Rainer online and not make a move until Rainer tells me to make a move, and see if Rainer can beat himself when we play.
That sounds
I do that with my kids sometimes. My kids, they have so I have 5 kids, and we play lots of games, which has been awesome this past year. I've had a board game group at my house. They have to earn winning, right? I'm not someone who, I'm not gonna play worse just so that they can win, but I also want them to have a good experience. So sometimes I will say, well, you might want to do this, or if they sit there thinking about, well, I don't know, what should I do? Which card should I take? Which tile or whatever? Then I say, well, if you take this one, that will help you do whatever it is. I remember my daughter, right now she's 14, but when so a few years ago we played this. I can't remember now how old she was at the time, but we played a game of Bruges, which again, Johannes, I know that this is not this is one of those that was on your overrated game where it's your least favorite, but you're wrong.
You're wrong.
And
Correct.
my daughter beat me by 25 points.
Wow.
On her own. She completely destroyed me. And she talks about that still. She talks because that was the first time that she beat me at a game. And it was a game that was thinky, and she earned it on her own. And it's so rewarding when you play and your kids beat you.
Yeah.
So that's
adorable.
It is rewarding to
memories.
teach people as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I help you win, great. That makes me happy because you get to win. And then next time we play, I can play my best.
And demolish you.
Then he can crush you. And he does do that too. You know, I know everyone tuned in here to find out the big reveal, but you didn't know you were going to get such a heartwarming moment here.
Right, a moment. Right.
Like I said, make memories. That's what this is about.
That's right. That's what matters. No.
Well, why don't you all tell people what you are up to these days on your different channels and so forth, where they can find you, and things that are going on, things that are happening, things that are exciting. We have a few minutes left, and let's go in reverse order. So, Scott, you get to tell us something exciting about you and what you do. And
the easiest way to find me, I'm usually on Twitter. It's just @CritsHappen. That's my old review site, and I've kept that name. It comes from another stand-up moment, which is another big story, but you're welcome to reach out to me on there. I'm on Instagram of the same name as well. In terms of excitement stuff, it's tough because the things that I'm most excited about are things I usually can't talk about publicly yet, because I'm on the flip side of the business where I see things that are coming in 2022 and 2023. I will say that there's one partner that I work with that has a very small game right now who has the opportunity to get a very, very big license. And if that happens, it's going to be really awesome for them and really awesome for fans of their game. So I'm really excited about that. I will warn you, if you follow me on social media, you will hear a lot about board games and you will hear a lot about pro wrestling, because in another life, I used to work for the WWF and I was a ring boy and did that for a short period of time. And I have a huge amount of wrestling knowledge that has both stayed in my brain and left my brain. So, but yeah, feel free to reach out anytime.
It's great. So do you want to do?
Yeah, Theo, you can.
Sure. You can follow me on social medias. I do the Twitter and Instagram. The Twitter, I don't know.
Twitter.
At Geeky Gamer Guy, but that's Gaymer. I know a lot of people think that it's Gaymer Guy. I'm not a fish. I don't think I'm a fish. It's Gamer Guy. And also on YouTube, it's Geeky Gamer Guy as well. And I post very regularly on social media. Lots of games. So by all means, hit me up there. We can talk about all the games and what you like and what you don't like. I just love experiencing that with people. So yeah.
Well, again, I'm David Waybright, and you can find me mostly at Man vs. Meeple, the YouTube channel, but on all of the social medias at Man vs. Meeple, and that's Man vs. Meeple. And I've just been, playing lots of games and editing lots of videos. It is a full-time gig for us here, which we love, and we are incredibly fortunate to say that's our job. But yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing. As soon as I turn this camera off, I'm going to be going and finishing some videos and probably playing some more games before I'm on tonight with Oda. So, and brushing up on my La Granja, because I haven't played it a ton in the last several months. So I need to look for those cards that I want to present to him to pick between.
Yeah, hit to the source, just to let me, what's the best one? Let me know.
Yeah, so we are Board Gaming Ramblings on YouTube and Twitter and also Instagram. I think maybe we might be BG Ramblings on some of those because our name is too long. And we play board games. Now we're doing, as we have already talked about, Keep or Cull, where we play all of our games and we give away all the games that we don't want to keep anymore. We also review games. We do playthroughs. We do top 10s, the usual stuff, and talk about board games because board games and it's fun. And we are from Norway. So if you're thinking like, what is that accent? It's people not speaking English trying to speak English.
Yeah.
Well, it's fantastic. By the way, do you guys have any merch that says hello everyone?
Yeah, it's coming.
It's
coming. It's on my back right now. I will love to show you, but that is but we're getting t-shirts with it on the front as well.
Yes,
so, yeah,
I need this.
Yeah,
we need to add like an hello you all, but that's coming later.
No, it's fine. It's totally fine.
Well, awesome. It's been great having you guys on today. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you to everyone who tuned in and who participated in the chat and so forth. This was awesome. We will be taking a short break here in about 12 minutes. We're going to have the brothers Murph will be on, and they're going to do their This Quiz is Broken. And you can participate. There will be a code that you can use to join in that and so forth. Again, to all of you that joined, Theo, Scott, Johannes, Sunniva, and David, thank you so much for joining. This was awesome to have you on here. And to the rest of you, we will be streaming continuously. So we will just play some nice hold music in the meantime. And we'll be back in a few minutes. All right.
Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.